Welcome back to the Central Indiana Sports Report, college football fans, for the Central Indiana Sports Report's College Football Report, Week 7 previews and predictions. And man, do we have a lot to talk about. I want to introduce the co-hosts, Eric and Ryan Robinson. Guys, crazy week in college football.
Penn State, obviously. I mean, Ryan called it. I didn't know that they would do it mid-season, but gosh dang, 3 in a row. I guess you can't let it linger.
Fans were unhappy with him.
Yeah.
You get the other stuff coming out behind the scenes about his arrogance and stuff around the facility and certain things. That all adds up. When you're winning games, you overlook some stuff, but when you're losing, like he was losing, and had a pattern of it, and then you thought maybe he snapped out of it last year and won some big games, made it to the final 4 teams in the college football playoff, and then this year just laid a big fat egg and was looking at another loss on the road at Iowa this week. So I told Eric that if they lose this 3rd one in a row, they'll make the move. He won't be the coach come Sunday at mid-Sunday. They'll already make a decision.
The other big story, of course, was Indiana's win over Oregon. We will get to that very soon. But first, our college football media picks competition. The Week 7 results are interesting. Eric Robinson with 34 points. Ryan Robinson with 34 points. Grant Schaus with 34 points. So those are still the top 3 in the competition. Grant with 214. Ryan 206. Eric with 194. Michelle Garman was 4th this week, tied with Kevin Helfrich. I am 4th overall in the competition with 188, which puts me 6 points behind the leader, Grant Schaus. And then Will Rutherford, Jeremy Giggy still in the game. Eric, your thoughts on the picks competition?
I made a massive comeback and then just tie with the guy that I'm trying to gain on. So,
all right, you guy, Grant Schaus.
Props to him. It was a good week for both of us. But we've got what I have 5 weeks left. I'm not sure how long
we're
you're
going to do the
this.
bowl games. We're going to do all of it, man. There's a long time to go.
Okay, so I got time.
By the way, guys, Grant's only miss this week was IU.
And he's the IU guy.
And he's the IU guy.
And he picked Oregon. I can't believe that.
I know, I did too. I had IU, and then I watched some Oregon film, and I got swayed by their defense, which played pretty well against IU most of the game. But, yeah, I picked Oregon as well, and I'm kind of ashamed. All right, we move on to Week 8, where we start with IU. We have 10 games. 4 of them are local. 5 of them are national. 6 of them are national games, and then we have a bonus game at the end. And we start with the locals, 3:30 on Peacock. It's 3-3 Michigan State against 3rd-ranked Indiana, 6-0. I have Michigan State worth 8, the Hoosiers worth 2, and bonus for the IU Hoosiers. They signed their coach to a long-term deal, Eric.
We need to talk more about the extension than the game. The game is not even going to be close. It's going to be IU all day. The Signetti signing him for 8 more years, $93 million, I believe, 11 million a year. I told Ryan it's a joke, but they have to do it. I get it, but I think it's ridiculous that it's come down to this. And Notre Dame's going to end up doing the same thing for Marcus Freeman. It's coming. It's just crazy how much money is being tossed around in college sports when it used to be so taboo. Like everything was under the table, and now everything's out in the open. And, the players are making buku money. The coaches are getting paid buku money. It's insane to me. Good for IU. Good for him. I mean, it's obvious he's the guy. I mean, 17-2 in 19 games at IU. Come on. No one else could ever do that.
Crazy. It's just, the word I keep using all week is absurd, because it's freaking absurd.
It is. Yeah. I always say joke, but absurd, same thing. I think a year or two from now, maybe the Hoosier fans will be maybe happier buying a $3 hot dog and a $5 beer as opposed and going 4-8 as opposed to a $15 beer and a $20 hot dog to be 10-2. I
We'll
don't
see
know.
how much they like winning, right? I think they're going to like it a lot.
I know.
Well, I just think you have to make that move. I was listening to some of the talking heads after the announcement came out. Paul Feinbaum says it just sunk the IU program spending that kind of money, but I don't necessarily agree with that. I think if these players are getting paid that kind of money, the coaches, they're
new
all like
world,
free
man.
agents. The coaches are with the buyouts. We just saw Penn State pony up 50 million. We saw 2 years ago, A&M boosters ponied up 75 million for Jimbo Fisher to leave the building. So you got to give Signetti the money to keep him locked in. Let's remember, IU has the most losses in NCAA football history as a program, the most ever. And you have a guy coming in, and Eric mentioned it, that it's insane, it's absurd. No one could do what he's doing. Why would you not try to capitalize on that and try to set a pattern for your program with the guy that's already showed you he's got the chops to do it? And watching that Oregon game, I watched the most the first half, all the second half, and that was IU controlled that whole entire game. And if it wasn't for that pick six by Mendoza midway through the fourth quarter, that's a 30-13 final at Oregon.
Yeah.
It's insane.
They dominated it. They really did.
They're like and it's both sides of the ball. The defense is good. The offense is good. There's 3 or 4 guys on each side of the ball that show up every week. And whether
And
it's
they're so well
Surratt,
coached.
whether it's Surratt or Cooper, one of them's going to have a big game. You're not going to stop both those guys. And Mendoza doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. So we're talking about this week's game at Michigan State. We're kind of getting on a tangent here on Signetti and the program, but that game's going to be over by probably the end of the first quarter. I don't think IU's capable of doing something like Penn State did at UCLA I don't think they're capable of it. I don't think they're capable of Notre Dame and Northern Illinois last year. I just don't think they are. I think the first signs of that, Signetti replaces players and figures out who wants to play. I think we're in great shape with him as the coach at IU, and I think they're going to continue to win. They're definitely going to be in the college football playoff. I'd love for them to be Big Ten champs, though.
I've been saying all week that we now know that they are as good as anybody, with the possible exception of Ohio State. I think Miami maybe, but right now I think it's those 3, and IU and Miami I'd put about the same.
Yeah, but Greg, after what we saw Saturday, I'm not afraid of Ohio State. I think
you might be right. That's why I said the possible exception of Ohio State. It's just absurd. All right, so we all agree IU's winning that game.
Yeah. Yep. IU big time.
3 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. It's 2-4 Purdue at 4-2 Northwestern. I have Purdue worth 7, Northwestern off worth 3. Purdue coming off a very disappointing loss at Minnesota, a game that they pretty much dominated every way but the scoreboard. Northwestern coming off a win for the ages.
Yeah, a big win for Northwestern, but in the big picture, maybe in a few more weeks, maybe not so big. Disappointing. I'm going to take Northwestern at home, and I'm going to go back. Now, I said I picked Purdue to only win one game in the Big Ten, and then I picked them last week. So I'm going Northwestern, and Purdue, no.
I'm going to go with Northwestern as well. I think that's coming off a big win. They're at home. They're going to be playing in front of about 4,000 people in that soccer stadium.
Oh, it's going to be packed.
It'll be packed. It's going to be rocking. Purdue's not that good. And let's not forget, Northwestern's 4-2. So,
They are.
and 2-1 in the Big Ten. So, I'm going with the Wildcats.
Give me Big Night from Nitro Tuggle and the Boilermakers, but at this point, it's all heart, no head.
You need to quit picking with your heart because you got some ground to make up, and you keep going with Purdue and Auburn every week. No comment.
I need to stop doing that. Give me the Boilermakers. 3:30 on ESPN Plus. It's 2-5 Akron at 2-4 Ball State. Have both teams worth 5 points. Guys, last week I said Ball State might not score another point this year, and so far they haven't.
Yeah, but man, I've been hard on Ball State. I say they're the worst team I've watched all year, but they're at home, and that team they're playing is awful. I'm going to take Ball State this week.
And Ball State's defense is pretty darn good.
Well, if you compare their defense to their offense, it's really good. But yeah, it's ugly. But I'll take Ball State.
I'm going with Akron in this one. I think both teams are really, really bad, but I think Akron has the potential offensively to put up a W. And even though it's a road game, Ball State's not afraid to lose at home. So let's go with Akron.
Give me Akron 2-0. 7:30 on NBC. It's number 21 USC at number 13 Notre Dame. USC 5-1 coming off a big win over Michigan. Notre Dame 4-2, having won 4 in a row. And at the beginning of the year, I said Notre Dame was going to lose its first 2 games and then win the rest into the playoffs. And well, that's looking pretty good. USC worth 7, Notre Dame worth 3. Does that tempt either one of you?
Not me. It is shaping up to for you being correct, Greg. As much as I hate to admit you might be right,
I know you do.
I like Notre Dame. I like what's going on there. I love CJ Carr. I love the running game. Finally get that going every week. I believe USC's top receiver is not going to play.
Their only real playmaker, man.
I know.
Yeah, he's out.
What though, Ryan? Every time this happens, there'll be some no-name guy have 200 receiving yards that night. It happens all the time against Notre Dame. I like them at home. I like them at night. I've been to 3 of the USC night games in South Bend. It's electrifying. I'm taking Notre Dame all day in this one.
I also like Notre Dame in this one. It's the spread's 9.5. I don't think Notre Dame will cover that. I think it'll be a tighter game, maybe a 7-8 point game. But you look at what Notre Dame's done on the defense after those first 2 losses. I think they were like 126th ranked defense, and they're all the way up to 58th now, just in four weeks. So, and USC's record's a little bit deceiving. They've had a really soft Big Ten opening schedule. They played, I believe, Purdue, Illinois, Michigan State, Michigan last week. So they've only played one really good team, and that was Illinois, and they lost that game. I just think Notre Dame offensively is so good right now. And I think our defense has gotten just good enough to where we can outscore USC. They're going to put some points up. Both teams will. But I think Notre Dame ends up winning this game. Hopefully. We've had so many seasons, Eric, where it's the last weekend of the year. We're playing at the Coliseum on a Saturday night, and they ruin our season. I don't want them to ruin our season mid-season this year by winning this Saturday, but I think Notre Dame will pull it out.
It would ruin the season, Ryan. That's for sure.
It would. They're done. Another loss, they're done.
That's right. I'm taking Notre Dame too, 55-12. By the way, guys, you know there is an unbeaten team left on Notre Dame's schedule.
Is it Navy?
That's right. It's 2 weeks. So Boston College, then Navy. And North Texas could beat Navy. But other than that, Navy could be unbeaten going into that game.
Yeah, could be a good win.
Now we get to our national games of the week, and I did sneak in a game that probably doesn't deserve to be on here, but I want to talk about all the major conferences. So, noon on ABC, number 10 LSU at number 17 Vanderbilt. We did have some disagreement on what each team should be worth. It ended up LSU 5, Vanderbilt 5. Both teams are 5-1. Eric, who you taking?
Well, back to the argument. I did tell Greg to quit sending me stuff, and he said, "Will do." And then he followed it up with, "You're right. I messed up," which was huge for Greg Mingelt to admit. Man, I tell you what, I keep harping on the LSU. I like this LSU team. I really do. But Vanderbilt is so good. I'm looking at the points, and LSU being a dog on the road. That's insane. LSU going to Vanderbilt, and they're an underdog. But I'm taking LSU. I'm taking LSU. I am. I'm going to ride it. I'm riding LSU out.
Taking Vanderbilt. I love Diego Pavia. They're at home. It's an afternoon game. They're not going to Death Valley at 7:30 on Saturday night. It's a noon game in Nashville. He's going to will them to a win, and this is typical Brian Kelly fashion to lose this kind of game. And the SEC, we knew it was just going to be utter chaos with losses. This is going to be LSU's second loss. It does not put them out of college football playoff because they could still get in that SEC title game with 2 losses. And I just think Vanderbilt is just built different, even more so than last year. So they competed really good in that Alabama game. So I think Vanderbilt's going to win.
Give me Vanderbilt as well. Even in the loss against Alabama, they impressed me with a lot of what they were doing. And one of you said they're built different, and they are. They're better than last year.
They are better than last year, and speed wise, talent wise, he's doing a hell of a job down there at Vanderbilt. They're going to lock him in too, big time.
Noon on Fox. It is 5-1 Washington at 4-2 Michigan. I feel very similarly to this one as I did last week with USC and Michigan, that it's kind of a toss-up. I have Washington on the road worth 6 points, Michigan at home worth 4. In the AP poll, Washington is second in others receiving votes behind Illinois. Michigan is third in others receiving votes behind Illinois and Washington. Eric, who you got?
This one is so hard for me. Gosh dang. I need points, so I like this Washington team, and I'm trying to not let my personal bias get in the way about Michigan. But I think I'm taking Washington on the road. I think Michigan is just going nowhere right now. So Washington.
I really needed you to pick Michigan.
Why? Because you're picking Washington?
I'm picking Washington. I think this was the hardest pick of the week, and I made my mind up earlier today. I'm going with Washington. I'm sticking with Washington. I think they're the better team. I know they're going into the big house, but I'm just not impressed with what I've seen out of Michigan.
I agree with both of you. It's a sweep. I'm taking Washington. I have no Michigan bias, Eric. In fact, Michigan's probably my favorite Big Ten school outside of the state of Indiana, but I think they stink. I picked them to win the Big Ten in the season. I'm not sure they're going to go over 500 in the Big Ten. 3:30 on ABC, big one in the SEC. Unbeaten 5th-ranked Mississippi goes to 5-1, and 9th-ranked Georgia. Despite being the higher-ranked team and unbeaten, I have the Rebels worth 7, the Bulldogs worth 3. Does that tempt anybody, Eric?
I'm tempted. And with my love affair for Lane Kiffin, it's like I'm about to double down on this. Man, I tell you what, it's so hard to pick against Georgia at home.
They've lost 2 home games since 2019, Eric.
Wow.
If that helps make your decision.
I know, but they're going to lose a third. I'm taking Ole Miss.
Mm.
I'm
Wow.
about to be in the lead. Next week, I'm going to be in the lead.
You might have been if it wasn't for that.
Or
No.
you could be mathematically eliminated.
That's fine. Just get it over
Swing for the
with.
fences, man.
The Ole Miss offense they ain't scared, and I'm telling you, this is the game of the week. I'm going to be watching Notre Dame-USC that night, but during the day, I'm telling you what, this is going to be a great game, and I like Ole Miss.
I'm going with the Bulldogs just because everything I said to help Eric make the right pick.
Yeah, I think it's 3 free points, Ryan. The last time Ole Miss won a game like this, I can't even tell you. The last time they won at Georgia, by the way, we were just getting out of high school.
Yeah, it's a tough spot for them, and Lane Kiffin's due to lay an egg. I think it's going to be this Saturday.
So they've proven they can win a big game. They won 2 weeks ago at LSU. They still have not proven they can win a big game on the road.
And they still won't this weekend.
Unless you count Kentucky. That's their biggest win on the road this year. It's number 7 and unbeaten Texas Tech looking really good. I have them worth 4 points at Arizona State, which fell out of the top 25 this week with a 42-10 loss at Utah. But Arizona State's at home. Eric, who are you taking?
I'm taking Texas Tech all day in this. Arizona State's been such a disappointment. Sam Leavitt not performing, and the payroll of Texas Tech is becoming a huge deal in college football. Get used to it. Texas Tech all day.
Yeah, when you have a matchup like this, you want to have healthy quarterbacks, and both teams have banged up quarterbacks. And where I give the edge is Texas Tech's backups come in 3 different times this year and held serve. So, and I don't know that Arizona State can say the same with their 2 losses already. So, and like Eric said, Levitt's been kind of a disappointment, but Texas Tech, they didn't spend all that money to win 6 games. They spent that money to win 11 or 12. So I look for them to win this Saturday. Hopefully both quarterbacks are healthy, but if not, you got to give the edge just based on talent and backup to Texas Tech.
Hey, if Arizona State wins out the rest of the way, they're still going to the playoffs because that means they will win the Big Ten championship. They're still only a game behind the lead, and one of the co-leaders, along with number 24 Cincinnati and number 15 BYU, is Texas Tech, of course. And I think Arizona State wins this game at home in a bounce-back win. Give me the points.
Gutsy. Hey, and a team we haven't talked about that you mentioned, BYU. Watch out. These guys are killing people. Man, they're so good.
They're winning the Big 12. Speaking of
I think they might.
You look at our early season, our first podcast of the year, we said biggest disappointment in the Big 12, and Eric and I both said BYU.
BYU. We did.
They're sitting at 3-0 in the conference and 6-0 overall after losing their quarterback like 3 weeks before the first game. So, yeah, big props to BYU.
Yeah, I think they're winning that conference. They look like the best team to me. 7 o'clock on Peacock. It is 3-3 Penn State at 4-2 Iowa. And guys, who would have ever thought Iowa would be the favorite going into this game? I have both teams worth 5 points, Eric.
Yeah, I'm going to take Iowa. I think Penn State is done. You'd look at the coaching change. It happens, but you lose your quarterback, your season's over. Iowa.
Yeah, Hawkeyes will win this game as well. It'll be the 4th straight loss for Penn State. And the Hawkeyes, they're kind of a sneaky little team. They played IU pretty good, and then they just rolled Wisconsin on the road, 37-0, I believe. So I think they'll handle Penn State and give me the Hawkeyes.
Man, Iowa's going to have no idea how to prep for this game. They don't know who the quarterback. They haven't seen anything from the quarterback. They don't know anything from the head coach. And I'm tempted to take Penn State because of that, but Give me Iowa. Penn State's going to win that game. I know they are. I just know they are.
Penn State also is going to have to figure out coaching candidates, and there's being names dropped everywhere. Of course, Cignetti was one of them. Marcus Freeman's one of them. Matt Rule at Nebraska is one of them. I don't think either of those three. Obviously, Cignetti's off the board now with his extension, but I'm going to drop a couple names there. You can give me your thoughts on it. Joe Brady from Buffalo Bills, offensive coordinator. And how about Al Golden? He leaves Notre Dame, best defense, one of the best defenses in the country, probably the best defense Notre Dame's had in several years. Goes to Cincinnati. They're having a dud of a year. Could Al Golden be a name? I think he's an alumni too, Penn State alum. Is that someone, him or Brady, that could be a top target?
I think Al Golden you might hear his name mentioned, but I think what he's done as a head coach.
Exactly.
I think he's a coordinator. I think
59 and 59.
I think he needs to stay a coordinator. To me, my front runner, and we'll see what happens, but Matt Rule to me is like the number one candidate there. Marcus Freeman's not going there. Cignetti was never going there. Ryan Day's never going there. I think Matt Rule is going to be a hard target for them. I don't know that they've tried to poach a guy from the NFL. I'm not sure. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
I have a wild card name for you too. What about Clark Lay, Vanderbilt?
I think that could work because he came up through Notre Dame, and I mean he's got the history and the pedigree.
He's young.
College football, young. Yeah, I could see his name being thrown out there. But there's no way. I mean, a lot of people, I got text messages today. Penn State's coming after Marcus Freeman. That's not going to happen. There's only one job Marcus Freeman ever is going to leave for, and that's Ohio State. Or a big-time NFL job.
Yep. The day that Ryan Day gets let go from Ohio State is the day all Notre Dame fans will get nervous.
Yeah, that's going to be a bad day.
And we'd have to understand why. As good as Notre Dame, that job is to him and for anybody, there's something to be said about going back to your own school, and he'd be beloved there.
Just like Matt Rule would be at Penn State.
I don't know that Matt Rule would leave. That's kind of you look at his history. Year 3 is when he makes his move with every team he's ever had. Temple, Baylor, this year Nebraska, 5-1. Year 3.
He's going to make his move this year. He's going to have a winning season and go bowling and have a great year and go on to something else. I think he's number one right now at Penn State. My opinion.
There you have it.
You heard it
from the college football experts. It's Matt Rule.
That's right. And you can never count out the pull of your alma mater. Ever.
No.
You can never count that. 7:30 on ABC. 5-1 Tennessee at 5-1 Alabama. Tennessee were 7, Alabama were 3, and suddenly, Eric, the Tide look like a national championship contender.
Yeah, they do. And I was actually talking to Carson earlier tonight, and I said if Alabama can win this game, it would be the most impressive 4-week stretch of any team all season this year. You look at what they've done, and if they get the win against Tennessee, which I'm taking Alabama, go ahead and mark it down. I'm taking Alabama.
Me too.
But to beat Georgia, beat Vanderbilt, go on the road at Missouri and win, and then beat Tennessee, I don't think there's any team in the country that can say we did more than Alabama in the last month. Super impressive. I love their coach. I've been a fan of their coach for a couple of years, and I'm glad they're figuring it out. Obviously, I'm not a diehard Alabama fan. I'm a college football fan, and I love what Kalen DeBoer is doing at Alabama. I'm glad everyone's going to, maybe the noise will quiet down on him. But Alabama, if they get this win, so impressive. And give me Alabama for the win over Tennessee.
Yep. I got 2 words. Ty Simpson.
Absolutely.
Ty Simpson.
Gunslinger.
He is the Heisman frontrunner in my eye. He's figured the offense out. He looks fantastic. Alabama's going to win this game. Look, it's going to be close. This is going to be a challenge after the last 3 games. This ain't going to be a cakewalk, but Alabama, I got them winning the game, but it's going to be 3 or 4 points. I think Josh Heupel, he's going to have his team ready. Tennessee's got a lot of talent. The quarterback's fantastic, makes big plays. I just think Alabama is like locked in right now, and they have a rhythm working offensively that I just think is going to keep them winning games.
Give me Alabama. They were a team after the loss to Florida State I kind of wrote off, and they have written themselves back in. And our final game, 3 o'clock on ESPN+. It's the 3-3 Youngstown State Penguins at 4-2 and 9th-ranked Illinois State. I have Youngstown State were 7, Illinois State were 3. The Redbirds, a bounce-back win last week, 46-32 over Murray State. The Racers keyed on Winker's right. He had just 60 yards on 15 carries, but the coaching staff did the smart thing and put him back on kick return, and he had an 80-yard kick return in the win. So he had 140 all-purpose yards in the victory. So who you got, Eric?
I'm not going to pick any football team that's named the Penguins. So give me the Redbirds all day.
I'll do you one better, Eric. Greg, give me the birds that can actually fly.
Yeah.
And give me, I guess I'll take Winker's right in the Illinois State Redbirds.
There you go. It's a sweep.
To go to 5-2 on the season. I think they're about to get themselves on a winning streak and get in the playoffs, guys. Thanks so much. Appreciate your time as always. And it was a big week, and it's another big one ahead. Thanks so much to Eric and Ryan. We'll be back next week with our Week 8 picks. In the meantime, enjoy our IU, Purdue, Pacers, Colts, high school football, high school basketball, Fever, and IndyCar coverage. And we're looking to add a few others. So please go subscribe so you don't miss a single segment. Also, please share this podcast with a college football fan in your life and help spread the word that the Central Indiana Sports Report is here talking about Central Indiana sports every single day. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.